Beneath our feet lies a world untouched by sunlight, where time unravels and echoes don't just return, they answer. Caves have always fascinated explorers, but for some, they became tombs, traps, or worse, mirrors of madness. In this video, we bring you 3 of the most horrific true caving experiences ever told, each more disturbing than the last. And these aren't just stories about getting lost. They're about being erased, rewritten, or replaced by something ancient and watching. In Story 1, The Unmapped Chamber Beneath Mirror Lake, a group of Elaris spelunkers ventures into a newly discovered cave system, only to realize the deeper they map it, the more it maps them. One by one, their identities dissolve, and what comes out isn't human anymore. In Story 2, The Screaming Depths of Elaris Cavern, a surveyor uncovers forbidden footage of a missing caver. But the more he watches, the more the cave watches him. When he descends into Elaris to find answers, he begins to suspect he's already trapped inside, long before he stepped foot underground. And in Story 3, The Girl from the Cave. No one marked, a geology student encounters a mysterious girl deep within an unrecorded cavern. But as her face begins to change and mirror his own, he must confront a horrifying truth. He was never meant to return. These stories are filled with darkness, suspense, psychological horror, and disturbing twists you won't see coming. Don't look away. Don't skip a second, because the deeper you go, the less certain you'll be that you're still yourself. Story 1, The Unmapped Chamber Beneath Mirror Lake. My name doesn't matter anymore, not since Mirror Lake. If you're watching this, if someone forwarded this recording to you, I beg you, don't go near it. Don't believe the maps, the expedition guides, the geo-tagged photos. The cave beneath Mirror Lake is not a tourist site. It's not a rite of passage for amateur spelunkers. It's a trap. I used to be like you, hungry for the thrill, for the untouched parts of the world, the dark, winding places the sun forgets. I wasn't a rookie either. I'd crawled through lava tubes in Iceland, vertical shafts in Peru, even that collapsed salt mine in Ukraine. But nothing prepared me for what I found under that lake. We were a team of 4. Marina, our lead, a geologist and adrenaline junkie. Ty, our navigator and cartographer. Lewis, the quiet one, the rope expert. And me, Jonas, the one who documented everything. Photos, audio logs. I was the eye that watched it all happen. It started with a rumor. An old forest ranger up in northern Idaho told Marina about strange echoes near Mirror Lake. Voices, even. People claimed to hear names whispered back to them that they hadn't spoken aloud. Most assumed it was a trick of the water or birds. But then someone found a tiny limestone opening on the western bank during a drought year. Narrow, barely big enough to fit through. They called it the Throat. We planned for a 2-day descent. The Throat dropped fast. It was like the earth didn't want us easing in. A near-vertical shaft, 20 meters down, before it widened into a crawl space of jagged rock and dripping walls. Already, our radios were useless by the time we passed 10 meters. That wasn't abnormal, but it was frustrating. Marina was euphoric. She kept saying, "This is virgin ground. No markings, no paths. We're the first." Ty began marking the walls with orange chalk, cataloging every turn. We recorded hours of footage, and everything seemed fine, until the first chamber. We called it the Echo Gallery. It was beautiful. Smooth, spherical walls, maybe 30 feet across. A pool of dark water sat dead center, perfectly still. Stalactites above and beneath them, a perfect acoustic reflection. You could whisper, and your voice would bounce back as if you were speaking beside yourself. But the echoes were wrong. They weren't perfect repeats. It was like the voice came back slightly off. Your sentence would return with a different inflection, or the wrong word substituted. When Lewis muttered, "Feels colder here," the echo replied, "Still here." Not his voice, not his tone. He laughed it off. We shouldn't have. We pressed on. Through a narrow chute, we entered what Ty labeled as Gallery B. He began mapping it meticulously, walls, dips, dead ends. But something was strange. When we turned back to take a break and return to the Echo Gallery, it was gone. The chute had vanished, or changed. The passage now curved up into a different tunnel. Ty swore we'd just missed a turn, but he grew quiet. He kept looking at his chalk marks, which should have lined the wall every 10 feet. They were gone. "I put one right here," he insisted, pointing to blank stone. "I swear, this is where we came in." Lewis and I helped retrace, and after a good hour, we found another marking. But it wasn't Ty's, not chalk, not orange. It was a handprint, pressed deep into the stone, as if melted in. 4 fingers, no thumb. We were underground. Miles from anyone. No signs of previous spelunkers. Nothing digital, nothing carved. Marina took a sample of the surrounding rock. "It's warm," she muttered. That night, we camped in a cavern that Ty called Stable Chamber D. We agreed to rest, recalculate our route, and exit at sunrise. But that night was hellish. We heard dripping. That's normal. But the pattern started mimicking our breathing. I'm not joking. When Lewis began snoring, the drip-drip shifted to a dry rasp, inhaling and exhaling in sync with him. Marina laughed nervously, but I recorded it. Then the rocks began whispering. We thought it was the wind at first, a trick of tight tunnels and echo chambers. But the words got sharper. Personal. "Jonas. Lewis. Help me." I froze. Because it wasn't my name alone. It was my sister's voice. She died when I was 16. Drowned. I hadn't heard her name said aloud in years, let alone in the exact voice she used when calling me for dinner. Marina grabbed her gear and shined her headlamp at every surface. "The cave's mimicking us," she whispered. Ty was silent. He had a faraway look, like he wasn't with us anymore. "I mapped this already," he mumbled. "But it's different now." We woke up to find Ty gone. No footprints, no gear missing, just vanished. Marina screamed his name into the tunnels. Nothing came back, no echo at all. That's when we realized the cave had stopped returning our voices. It was dead silent. Lewis snapped. He started smashing the wall with his climbing axe, screaming, "Where's the way out?" over and over. On the 5th swing, the axe head cracked against something metal. We cleared the rubble, a slab of steel, no door, no hinges, just smooth, rusted steel fused into rock. Etched into it, scratched in desperation, were words. "Don't map the cave, it maps you." And below it, Ty, day 12. We'd only been there for 30 hours. That's when the lights died. We didn't scream when the lights went out. We were too deep in the earth for screaming to mean anything. Instead, Marina and I sat there, in the blackest dark I've ever known, with only the memory of where Lewis had last been standing. I reached out for him. Nothing. Then I heard it. The sound of breathing. Not mine, not Marina's. Wet, deliberate, guttural breathing, as if someone, or something, was exhaling water through torn lungs. I flicked my backup headlamp on. A small beam cut through the black. Lewis was standing still, his back to us, facing the steel wall. His helmet was gone. His arms hung limp at his sides. "Lewis?" Marina said gently. He didn't answer. She stepped toward him, one hand out. Hey, buddy, we'll find Ty. We'll get out." Then Lewis turned around. His eyes were pitch black. Not in a poetic way. Literally black. Pupil, iris, Sclera gone, just 2 glistening obsidian stones set into his skull. And worse, his mouth was smiling, too wide, lips cracked at the corners, stretched like someone had pulled them open with hooks. I swear to God, I could see the edges of his molars through his cheeks. I saw the heart, he whispered. What? Marina whispered. Lewis stepped forward. It beats beneath the water. It built this cave. It lets you leave, but not for free. That's when I saw the marks on his arms. Not cuts, symbols, dozens of them. Tiny, intricate carvings, not made with a knife, but burned into his skin with perfect symmetry. They shimmered faintly like they were alive. Marina grabbed my wrist and pulled. Run. And we did. No sense of direction, no plan. We sprinted through unfamiliar tunnels, sometimes having to belly crawl or wedge ourselves sideways through slits no human body should fit through. The rock scraped our clothes, our skin, our sanity. Behind us, Lewis was singing, something low and hollow, like a hymn or a lullaby, in a language no one alive speaks. See the mouth, see the name, speak the echo, feed the flame. That chant followed us through every twisting corridor, and then the tunnels changed again. The walls breathed, no exaggeration. They expanded, contracted, moved, not like rock, but like the inside of a throat. It was as if the cave was swallowing and pushing us further into its belly. We burst into a new chamber, one we'd never seen. It looked impossibly massive, like we were suddenly in a cathedral, ceilings vanishing into black, the ground perfectly flat. And at the center was a pool. The same pool from the Echo Gallery, or maybe a different one. Marina fell to her knees, shaking. It's a loop, she whispered. Number worse, it's folding. What are you talking about? I asked. She looked up at me, eyes wide and wild. We're not in space. We're in its memory. It doesn't care about physics. Every step we take just feeds it. We're inside something that remembers us, and it's using that to rebuild itself. I didn't understand. I still don't. But I was shaking now, too. That's when Ty appeared. He crawled from the far side of the chamber, clothes torn, mouth twitching, skin pale as moonlight. He collapsed in front of us, coughing up what looked like ink. He grabbed Marina's jacket. Don't map it, he wheezed. Don't think. If you think, it builds more. What happened to you? I cried. He shook violently. I kept drawing. I kept trying to make sense. But it saw. It copied me. It made rooms from my childhood, from my guilt, from my dreams. His voice cracked. It made a version of my father, and he told me how I'd die. Then he laughed, and he was right. Then he looked up. It's behind you. We turned, and Lewis was there. But it wasn't Lewis anymore. His mouth was still stretched, but now he had no eyes at all. Just smooth, dark skin where his sockets used to be. He reached out a hand. Join the map, be remembered. Marina pulled a flare from her pack. With trembling fingers, she lit it and hurled it into the water. The moment it hit, the pool screamed. The scream wasn't from a throat. It came from every wall, every surface, from inside our skulls. A deep, genderless roar that carried with it memories not our own, faces I didn't recognize, children weeping, a funeral in a cave older than any country on earth. The water boiled, the walls cracked. Ty's last words were, "Don't stay for the second echo." Then he convulsed and turned to dust. Gone, no body, just a smear of fine gray powder that vanished as if the cave had breathed him in. Marina looked at me. We have to lose our memories. What? She pulled a sharp rock from her belt and, without hesitation, cut her palm. The blood. If it's new, it's unreadable. We'll confuse it. We can blind it. It can't map what's not part of us anymore. I didn't understand, but I cut myself too. Then we ran, we screamed nonsense, we howled gibberish, we threw off our packs, shouted old song lyrics, made up fake memories, repeated old dreams that never happened. Anything to make our identity unclear, and eventually, the tunnel let us out. We burst out of the throat 2 days later, or maybe 2 months. We were found by hikers, barefoot, covered in cuts, half-starved. The sun felt like fire. Marina didn't make it. She told me her name before she died, then made me promise not to repeat it again. "Don't let the cave find me again," she whispered. I burned the maps. I deleted the footage. But I've never stopped dreaming of the handprint, the symbols on Lewis's skin, and that echo that whispered my sister's name. The worst part, last week, I heard my name whispered in my bathroom. I live 4 states away now. There's no cave here, but I think the map followed me. Story 2, The Screaming Depths of Elaris Cavern. You were the one who found the footage. It came in a battered plastic crate, water-damaged and duct-taped shut, buried behind the storage locker of a shuttered ranger outpost in New Mexico. The locker was scheduled for demolition, and you were there for routine survey work. No one expected to find anything but rat droppings and mold. Inside the crate, 3 broken flashlights, a flask filled with something black and congealed, a sealed Ziploc of fingernails, and a memory card, wrapped in foil, labeled in shaky handwriting, "Elaris Cavern, do not watch, no exit." Of course, you watched it. You loaded the footage into your laptop that same night, half drunk and surrounded by wind-swept desert silence. You hit play, and what you saw changed everything. The screen flickered to life, grainy, time-stamped, hand-held. A woman, maybe mid-30s, appeared in frame, dirty red helmet, climbing harness. Her name tag read, "Dr. Lena Rourke, Day 1, she says into the camera. Entering the Elaris shaft. Initial descent point verified. No signal. Going dark in 3, 2. And then she drops into the earth. What you saw after that can't be summarized in a report. It doesn't fit the tidy boxes of science or psychology. It started with basic exploration, tight squeezes, vertical drops, damp chambers echoing with drips. Nothing unusual, but soon things changed. Her voice started to delay. Not in the footage, in reality. You'd hear her speak, and then 2 seconds later the audio would catch up, like the cavern she recorded wasn't subject to time the same way you were. You paused the video, played it again, same delay. Then you noticed the backgrounds repeating. Same formation, same wet wall, same pile of old bones, 3 clips apart, different time stamps. You kept watching. She began to spiral. "The cave's folding," she whispers. "It wants me to keep moving, but every turn, it's a mirror." Her flashlight flickers, and for 1 frame, just one, you see a second Lena Rourke behind her. Mouth open, eyes black, no reflection. You paused the frame, heart racing. There was no trick, no editing. The light from Lena's headlamp cast a long shadow, but her doppelganger didn't cast any at all. And then, as if the footage could hear you, it glitched forward. Suddenly she's screaming, crawling backward through a muddy tunnel, eyes wide. "It showed me myself," she cries. "But it wasn't me." Her hands are covered in cuts. There are words etched into her forearms. You paused, zoomed in. Not English, not Latin. Some kind of ancient script, looping, spiraling letters, repeating like a mantra burned into her skin. You are already deeper than you know. You felt sick, and yet fascinated. The next part of the video wasn't recorded with her camera. It was as if the cave had started filming her from a distance. Different angles, static shots, footage of her sleeping, of her talking to someone not on screen. And you could swear. In some shots, Her movements weren't fully human anymore. At one point, she turns to face the camera, the one she shouldn't know is there, and whispers directly to you, "You're watching this in the desert, aren't you?" You slammed the laptop shut. The air in your tent was heavy, oppressive. You stumbled outside, head spinning, lungs tight. The desert was dead silent. Then, something moved behind the boulders. Just for a second, a flicker, a shadow with a headlamp. You didn't sleep that night. You told yourself it was stress, lack of water, the ghost stories left by a delusional cavern. But when you woke up the next morning, your laptop was still closed, and a fresh layer of red cave dust was scattered across the keys. You hadn't been in a cave in months. You tried to delete the footage. The file wouldn't erase. You reformatted the entire drive. Twice. The file came back. Renamed now. You are already inside. You sent it to your boss. The file arrived. Blank. You uploaded it to a private YouTube link. Unlisted, unshared. Within 10 minutes, the video had 300 views and 17 comments. All said the same thing. She's still down there. That's when you started digging into the Elaris expedition. There was no formal record, no university grant, no official coordinates, just rumors, a few deleted blog posts, one broken geocaching pin on an abandoned site. But you found it. A place locals called the Howling Mouth. A slit in the earth 20 miles from any town, surrounded by scorched Joshua trees and twisted stone like melted bones. You drove there against every warning in your mind. The entrance was exactly as it appeared in the video. That smooth drop into the dark. The stale, iron-rich air. The echo that repeats your last thought instead of your last word. You told yourself you were just there to confirm it. Take a photo, maybe mark it off. But you brought your gear anyway. You haven't told anyone you're going in. And now, standing at the edge, staring into that yawning blackness, you feel it. The cave is watching you. No birds, no wind, just a silence that doesn't feel natural, a silence that pulls. You step closer. You hear something, so faint it might be imagination, but it chills you to the bone. A voice, far below, your voice, whispering, "She's still down there." You go in. You don't remember making the decision. One moment you're standing on the edge of the shaft. The next, you're halfway down it, rope squealing against your gloves, helmet tight on your head, the sun a fading dot above. The air here tastes old, not dusty, stagnant, wet, like something that died with its mouth open. You land in the first chamber. It's exactly as Lena described in the footage. Smooth walls, walls that look melted, not carved. Your headlamp flickers as if the cave disapproves of light. The silence is wrong. Not just quiet, pressurized. Your breath sounds too loud, too delayed, like it's being played back from inside your own skull. And then, the whisper. You are already inside. You spin around, swinging your light. No one's there, but your shadow is wrong. It doesn't mimic your movements anymore. It lags, half a second late, like it's thinking about what you did before agreeing to follow. You push forward. The tunnel splits into 3 paths. You mark your entry point on the rock with chalk, just like Lena did, but the chalk doesn't stay. You watch, jaw tight, as the mark seeps into the wall, like ink into thirsty paper, gone in seconds. You feel something cold slither down your back, not water, regret. You take the left tunnel. Inside the walls start whispering, not words, not in a language, just feelings, thoughts that don't belong to you. You lied about the photos. You shouldn't have gone back. She didn't forgive you. You try to shake it off. The cave can't know you. It's just a cave. But then you find the mirror room. It's exactly as it was in Lena's video. A wide open dome, its floor coated in water so still it looks like polished glass. Your own reflection stares up at you, only it doesn't move when you do. It just stands there, staring back. Then it smiles. Your real mouth stays still, but the reflection lifts its hand, slowly, and beckons. You lurch backward, your boot slipping on the wet stone. You land hard, headlamp flickering, and when you look again, the pool is dry. No reflection, just bone-dry stone. You scramble to your feet and step forward, but your foot falls through. The ground isn't solid. It's water again. You fall, sinking, sinking, sinking through darkness. You should be drowning, but you're not. You're just falling sideways, like space and gravity flipped. Then you land. Same gear, same helmet, same cave, but something's changed. Your watch says it's only been 20 minutes. Your camera feed, still recording, now has 2 timelines. One tracking from when you entered, the other showing 6 hours of unknown footage. Shots of you walking through tunnels you've never seen. Sleeping, eating, whimpering. There's even a clip of you staring directly into the lens, whispering, "He's not me." Stop watching. You didn't record that. You didn't say that. You should turn back. You don't. You push forward, deeper. The cave is narrowing now, breathing, like a living esophagus curling inward. At one point, you have to remove your backpack just to squeeze through, and that's when you see her. Lena Rourke, alive, or something like it. She's crouched in a chamber lit by the glow of fungus. Her face is half-shadowed, eyes dull, bloodshot. Her hands are scratched to ribbons, fingers shaking. She doesn't look up. "Don't talk," she whispers. You kneel beside her, stunned. She pulls something from her pocket, a piece of broken mirror. She holds it up between you. "Look." You do. Your reflection stares back. Then, your reflection turns its head away. But you didn't. Lena whispers, "It's not a cave. It's a recording. A prison made of your worst thoughts. You never left." You feel dizzy. "This isn't real." "No," she says. "It's worse. It's you, folded into a shape you can't escape. The deeper you go, the more it becomes you, until there's no version of you left outside." You grab her shoulders. "How do I leave?" She stares past you. You don't. Suddenly a noise, shuffling, wet and close. A second, Lena steps out from the tunnel behind you. Identical. Same face, same torn gear, only she's smiling, and her mouth is full of teeth. Too many. The Lena beside you screams, "Run!" You run, crawling, scraping, clawing at the walls, your skin splitting on the stone. Behind you, you hear it. Don't run from yourself. You'll only find more of you. You emerge into a final chamber, and there is you, standing perfectly still. A perfect copy. He blinks at you. Same scar on your eyebrow, same dirt on your boots. He smiles. You made it. You raise your headlamp. He raises his. You speak. "I'm real." He tilts his head. "That's what I said too." And then he charges. You collide with yourself. A blur of fists, screams, broken helmets, and scraped skin. You reach for a rock. He reaches for a knife. You don't know which one of you bleeds first. You don't know which of you wins. But when you wake up, you're outside, lying on the sand. Your truck is nearby. The sky is full of stars. The cave entrance is gone, buried, sealed over with rock. You look at your hands. There's blood. You look in your rearview mirror. Your reflection blinks after you do, and it whispers, "Welcome back." Story 3, The Girl from the Cave. No one marked on any map. This is the final entry in my journal. If you're reading this, I'm probably still down here. Or maybe what came out isn't me. I've rewritten this page 3 times. My hands shake too much. My flashlight died hours ago, and my backup's been flickering like it's out of breath. The cave walls aren't smooth anymore. They're breathing, slowly, like lungs wrapped in stone. But I'll start from the beginning. My name is Will Harper. I was a geology graduate student at the University of Montana. My thesis was on unmapped karst systems. I thought I'd found the expedition of my dreams when I was sent to a rural mining town near the Idaho-Montana border. Population, 104. The kind of place where every house had a dog, a shotgun, and a secret. The locals didn't like me. They'd stare when I walked into the diner. A few of them whispered when I asked about the old mining shafts. One woman, a school teacher with a bent spine and pale eyes, muttered something I still can't forget. "Don't go looking for her. She's already inside you." I assumed it was just superstition. Old mining towns have ghost stories like we have coffee. But then I met Caleb, an ex-miner, now living out of his pickup. He'd heard about my research and showed me something strange. A map. Hand-drawn, rough terrain lines, a cliff, and at the bottom a barely visible mark shaped like an eye. "Cave's not on any record," he said. "Not even the old mining logs. Found it when I was blasting through shale back in '89. Lost my brother there." Lost how? He lit a cigarette with shaking hands. "He went in, didn't come back, but his voice came out for days, calling for me, screaming, laughing sometimes, like the cave was using him." I told him I didn't believe in that kind of thing. He smiled sadly. "That don't matter. The cave believes in you." I hiked out the next morning, followed Caleb's map. No trail, just wild brush and old deer paths. After 6 miles, I found the cliff face, jagged, narrow, with a near-invisible gap between 2 crumbling outcrops. The entrance to the cave wasn't natural. It was too smooth, too round, like something had carved it from within. I set up camp nearby, waited for sunrise, and then entered. At first it felt like every other cave I'd studied. Cool air, stale oxygen, faint dripping in the distance. I marked the walls with UV chalk as I went, taking soil samples, voice recording everything. About 300 feet in, I noticed a smell. Not decay, not rot. It smelled like rain on concrete, like a city street after a storm, completely out of place. That's when I heard her. A girl's voice, far ahead in the dark. "Is someone there?" I froze, replayed my recorder. Nothing. Total silence. I called back. "Hello?" No answer. I picked up my pace. The tunnel narrowed into a winding passage. My boots slid on slick stone. At one point, the floor dropped into a pool of water, chest deep and freezing. On the other side, a tight squeeze into a vaulted cavern that made my breath catch. The walls were covered in handprints. Hundreds, maybe thousands, some small, child-sized, some elongated, twisted. None of them were mine. In the center of the room was a figure, a girl, maybe 18 or 19, pale skin, dark hair matted to her face, wearing a dress that looked wrong, old-fashioned, like something from a schoolhouse photo in the 1800s. She didn't seem afraid. She didn't look up. I whispered, "Hey, are you okay?" She said nothing, just slowly raised a finger and pointed behind me. I turned around. There was another version of me, standing in the entry tunnel I'd just come from. Same gear, same beard, same headlamp, but his expression was hollow, blank. He said nothing, just watched. I blinked. He was gone. The girl was gone, too. I was alone again, or I thought I was. That was 12 hours ago. I can't find the entrance. The walls keep changing. My chalk marks vanish after minutes. My voice recorder now plays different audio than what I remember recording. I just played back a clip from earlier. Instead of my voice logging geological notes, I heard She's inside me now. She walks behind my eyes. I didn't say that. I swear I didn't. There's more. I've found objects down here that shouldn't exist. A broken pocket watch, still ticking. A child's shoe, wet and covered in red clay. A photograph of me and my sister from when we were kids. But I never brought that photo. Worse, the girl has returned. She appears randomly, sometimes far down the tunnel, sometimes just a few feet behind me when I turn around. She never speaks, but sometimes she's smiling, and sometimes she's crying. Once I found her standing over an open pit, her mouth moving as if singing, but I heard nothing, just the windless silence of the cave. And tonight, I saw her sleeping, curled up on the cold stone like a child in a crib, her mouth open, whispering my name. I never told her my name. I don't remember saying it aloud once inside the cave. Now when I look in my compact mirror, I see something wrong. My eyes are too dark, not in color, in depth, like the light doesn't reflect right, like it's hitting something behind them that isn't quite me. I think the cave is replacing me, or erasing me, or feeding her with my pieces. Every time I sleep, I wake up further in. And every time I call out, it's her voice that answers. If you find this journal, please don't come looking. You won't find me. You'll only find her. I woke up again in the same place, only it wasn't the same. The stone beneath me pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat deep within the rock. The air was thick, humid and humming, like the cave was exhaling right into my lungs. My flashlight was dead, but the walls glowed softly now, illuminated by faint blue veins. Not mineral, something organic, something alive. I don't know how long I've been down here anymore. I don't sleep in hours. I sleep in dreams. And the dreams, they're hers. She's in every one of them. The girl, the one I found, the one I lost, the one I followed. She shows me memories that aren't mine. Running through forests barefoot, laughing at lightning storms, screaming as hands pulled her into the cave long before I was born. I feel them like they're mine now, like I lived them, like I am her. No, but that's wrong. She's becoming me. Let me explain. I found my voice recorder earlier today. I swear I left it near the water tunnel days ago, but there it was, placed gently atop a pile of smooth stones, like someone was offering it back. It was still on. I hit play. At first it was just static, then faintly my own voice, but warped, younger, softer, and not quite me. I woke up again in the same place. She's been recording over me, repeating my words, copying my inflections, but there's something off about her tone, like she's trying to learn how to sound like me, like the cave is helping her mold herself into something new. There are other voices on the recorder, too, ones I don't recognize, a child crying, an old man praying, a woman humming a lullaby I've never heard but somehow remember. I threw the recorder against the wall. It didn't break. It just kept playing. I tried to destroy the journal, but I couldn't tear the pages. They felt like skin. My skin. Every time I try to write, it's as if my hand already knows what it's going to say. The words are not mine anymore. And then I found her shrine. That's the only word for it. It was at the end of a low crawl space, where the air is so thin you can feel your thoughts thinning too. The room beyond was silent, still, dry. The walls were covered in markings, hundreds of names etched into stone, in desperate, jagged letters. Some were in English, others in symbols I didn't recognize. A few were written in blood, and at the center of it all, a mirror, tall, cracked down the middle. In front of it, her. She stood there, head tilted, watching her reflection, smiling. Her dress was stained now, torn at the bottom. Her feet were bare and red with cuts. And her face, it was mine. Not perfectly, but close enough to shatter something inside me. Her jawline, her eyes, the scar on my chin from when I fell off my bike at 13. I stared in silence. She didn't turn around, just touched the mirror with one hand and whispered, "Almost ready." I stepped closer. "Why me?" I croaked. My voice cracked, felt like dust. She didn't respond. I shouted, "Why me?" She slowly turned. Her mouth didn't move, but my own voice echoed from the walls. "Because you came willingly. You came with no fear. That makes you easy to wear." I stumbled back. My heart was pounding. I tried to run, but the tunnel behind me was gone. Gone. The shrine was the only room left. That's when I saw it. On the other side of the mirror, not a reflection, another cave, one brighter, open, with trees swaying in the wind and sunlight spilling across rocks. My backpack was there, my truck, my tent, and someone standing in the distance, waving, wearing my body. They turned toward the mirror and smiled, not cruelly, just patiently, like someone who'd waited a long time to be free. I pounded the glass, screamed, begged. But the mirror didn't break. The girl stepped beside me, her eyes now perfectly shaped like mine. She leaned in and whispered, "You're the voice now. I'm the body." And then she stepped through the mirror. I watched as she emerged into the light. I tried to follow, but the mirror was now solid rock, cold, eternal, and now. Now I sit in this cave that no one mapped, in a body that isn't fully mine, with thoughts stitched together from memories I can't trust. I hear hikers up above sometimes. I scream for help. But my voice doesn't leave the cave. It stays here, bouncing off the walls, endlessly echoing through the tunnels. One long, looping cry, and worse. Sometimes I hear her voice calling back, not mocking me, not taunting me, but warning someone else. "Don't come looking. He's already wearing you." You've reached the surface again, but something tells you not everything made it back with you. We've explored 3 terrifying caving experiences, each more disorienting, more psychologically haunting than the last. From a map that writes its own explorers, to a cave that records your very thoughts, to a girl who doesn't just haunt, she becomes you. But here's the real question. If caves remember what enters them, what do they forget when you leave? If this video had your heart racing, your mind spiraling, or left you questioning your own reflection, hit that like a button. Share it with someone who thinks caving is just a hobby. And before you go, drop a comment below. Which story disturbed you the most? And would you ever explore a cave alone? Don't forget to subscribe for more horrifying true stories that crawl under your skin and stay there. Thanks for watching. But be careful next time you hear an echo, because it might not be yours.